Good morning. It is and aloha, y'all. I know why I say that, and I'm just kind of out of it right now. Today is the last day on this calendar side on this thing. Today is a white solar dog guided by death, and how appropriate given the sun, moon, and Mercury are in Scorpio. Venus is in Libra, Mars is in retrograde in Aries. Actually, I said retrograde. Mars has gone direct. I do that. Mars is direct. That's why the Trump announcement was that surprising. Libras in Venus, Mercury, Moon, and Sun are in Scorpio. So today, like I said, is a white solar dog guided by death, very Plutonian. It is a heart chakra day. So Anahata chakra is what we're going to be working with. Do the mudras, do the mantras, get into your heart, give compassion to yourself and others, kind of be on that wave. And with this new moon in Scorpio, we're going to be probably transmuting pain and sorrow and death and illusions, and moving into action, hopefully guided by the heart, now that Mars is direct as well. So let's go ahead and see what we got. Death Dog, exactly, Sorrel. Death Dogs. Sounds like a metal band. Death Dog. Alright, so it's blizzarding outside. It's so windy and snowy right now here in Colorado, so it's cold. We've got the devil! Can't make this shit up. Can't make this shit up. So, the devil card. And the devil's inside of us. We lead ourselves into temptation, right? When we're not living from our Anahata chakra heart. When we're living in our mind, we get divided. We get dualistic. The devil card, though, on this Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio, new moon in Scorpio, Saturn's day, Saturn ruling. Also, kind of the devil, if you're into the whole Saturn's cube kind of thing. So, the devil, this is about embracing your inner trickster, giving in to temptations, making choices based on impulse rather than desire, and deceiving yourself, feeling hopeless. Not fun. So, the devil, I am the master deceiver, and it is time to break the spell. Set in the alluring psychedelic vision of a post-apocalyptic world, this card plays homage to the spirit of David Bowie's Diamond Dogs. The devil is personified in a similar vein to Bowie's punk trickster Halloween Jack, but he is cast as an amoral being of artificial intelligence. You enter this domain at your peril, for he is bewitching. He is a bewitching tormentor, aided by mechanized demons and bizarre otherworldly guard dogs. He is the possessor of miraculous intelligence. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Mercury right now. It's like deep waters of psychology, deep intelligence. Acquiring, implementing, and building knowledge in ways far superior than humanity, and yet without conscience, has no empathy, no sense of right and wrong. The devil, the embodiment of general artificial intelligence, so engineered to amplify human intelligence and become humanity's savior, mirroring Bowie's savior machine, i.e. the man who sold the world, helping to eradicate war, disease, and poverty. We're always like, oh, AI will help us solve the problems. This is kind of that energy, right? We have to confront our shadow and our problems with our heart, Anahata chakra, in order to, and birth these things in ourselves, not rely on machines to do it for us. It is the ghost of the machine, the mind-body divide, head without a heart. The emerald tablet encoded with an ancient alchemical formula to positively transform and purify the imperfect human condition. And guys, wake up and live. The human condition is imperfect. We as humans are imperfect. Perfectly imperfect, you could say. Transform and purify the imperfect human condition is now also in his possession. Are we in grave danger? The ancient doctrine of original sin, where Adam and Eve are cast out of the Garden of Eden, having rebelled and eaten the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, reflects the mythological impurity and the division of union. The polarities of day and night, yin and yang, become metaphors for light and dark, male and female, the unconscious and the visible, mysterious, unconscious, and the mysteries of the unconscious, the hidden psychological depths that is where Sun, Moon, and Mercury are in Scorpio. So we're going to get down to our deepest secrets, our deepest fears, our deepest shames, our deepest, right? And we have the chance with the new moon to be birthing out of that through the pain and failure, essentially, to transmute and not hold other people, i.e. devils, accountable and say, I made that mistake, I'm owning it, and hopefully with a new moon birthing into new, deeper understandings of wisdom about our brokenness, essentially. Traditionally, the devil is conceived as the personification of whatever is labeled in a society as evil, a threat to continuity and the supposed power of the majority. He is the archetypal, rutting scapegoat, the reflection of humanity striving for goodness gone wrong, the course of a pure spiritual life perverted. The devil is the great tempter, the voice of deception and corruption. And it's funny that it says scapegoat because the devil card, this card is Capricorn, and the Capricorn is the goat, right? Baphomet is very much devil head. I mean, there's a whole kind of alchemical symbolism there that's not not going to be digested fully by most. But the goat is very Saturnian, and the devil is the world. Capricorn is the highest level of world. So right now, maybe dark forces are ruling the world. Look at it that way. But we have to have hope. New moon in Scorpio. For many cultures, sexual pleasure and ecstasy, especially out of wedlock, the legally sanctioned institution of marriage, are deemed sinful. Pleasure itself has been seen as unholy, the work against God, a dishonorable and addictive distraction. In the world of duality, when we create a force for good, we also create an equal force for, quote, bad. When we consciously push away our natural instincts in the pursuit of light, they push back in the form of the devil. The devil is the trickster who secretly bewitches us, encouraging us to continue life, debilitating behaviors that drain our resources and relationships. This card calls us to examine that which remains hidden in darkness, very Scorpio, Moon, and Mercury, hidden in darkness, within the realm of personality. That which we have denied or suppressed, hidden, believing ourselves to be wrong. Often feeling a sense of helplessness, failure, and loss of control, we are locked out of our own lives. The devil is about embracing your inner trickster, giving in to temptation, like you buckle, you did the wrong thing kind of thing. You ate the apple, making choices based on impulse rather than desire, deceiving yourself and feeling hopeless. Hopefully we can actually shed some of this stuff with the new moon in Scorpio. We have the ability to kind of understand our shadow and integrate it and work with it. As a double Gemini, I understand the trickster thing. I understand that more deeply than most probably. So let's go ahead and get some clarifying cards. I drank my protein shake. I use hot water, and I guess it was really hot because I scalded my finger, and now it's still hurting. And I'm like, damn, that was hot. Not in a Paris Hilton sense. That's hot. But in a temperature sense. All right, so we've got number 10 of air. Interesting looking card here. I have never read this, so this is a first for me as well. This looks very much in line. I mean, it's showing the heart chakra, but at some level it seems to be showing quite a bit. Oh, that's not the 10 of air. What is this? 10 of fire? 10 of fire, I think, actually, now that I look at it. So 10 of fire, where you at? Where you at? I just passed it, of course. Yep, 10 of fire. All right. I guess I should have known. I don't know why I thought it was air. Look at all that fire. Mistakes can happen. This is about doing self-mastery, very Scorpio energy, self-mastery. Mastery, evolution, Scorpio, Sun and Moon and Mercury, enlightenment, light work, light being, discipline. Key phrases: mastery of both craft and self, taking command of yourself and your life, taking responsibility for your actions. Haley, I love you. Do not be a slave to outside forces. Heard. Order, structure, and simplicity, which is very Saturnian. It is a Saturn's day. And being disciplined and dedicated. Stop making excuses. Act. Mars is direct. Action, not words right now. You can do anything you set your mind to and act upon. The 10 of fire symbolizes mastery. Not just a skill or a craft, but oneself. It means understanding the tools of your craft and wielding them with skill, precision, and craftsmanship. With the devil card as the card, we tend to use this as a scapegoat and say, well, I can't do it. The devil made me do it. It's our shadow, hidden, negatively polarized self that is this. So we have to learn how to master the devil in ourselves. This is about knowing yourself and using that knowledge and understanding to bring to you all that you need and desire with the same level of skill, precision, and craftsmanship. The master illustrated in the 10 of fire knows how to wield his personal power. And power is very scorpionic, right? Mars direct in Aries, very powerful. He moves with clear intentions, and he acts with the same intent. He is aware of what motivates his behavior and actions. He knows the shadows. He's not ignorant, and exhibits complete self-command. He acts with deliberation, with complete awareness of the effect his actions will have upon himself and his environment. Venus and Libra. He knows, how his actions affect others and himself. He is not only confident, he is capable also. Very Saturnian, Saturn's day. He has also evolved from a person who lacked awareness. So guess what? Like the devil was an angel originally and fell from grace, right? We are whole and we fall into duality. We start falling into splintered shadowness. We start, all this level. This guy, it says he has evolved from a person who lacked awareness and perhaps even blamed others for the problems in his life because he was unable to see that every action gives rise to consequence. He had scapegoats, devil cards. We can make devils out of anything, of each other, ourselves, situations. It's about owning responsibly, knowing that as within these chakras, so without consciousness exists, we are what we are experiencing. We are our experience in a sense, vomiting itself ouroboreally outward forever and ever. He once stumbled about, his inexperience resulting in more mistakes than triumphs. As a double Gemini, I feel this. But he continued, and in doing so, reached a crucial moment of enlightenment when he realized that in order to succeed, he had to take command of himself and his life. I'm planking, I'm being vegan, I'm being sober. Like, there's a whole lot I'm actually doing right now to command my life. Doesn't mean I'm doing it perfectly. I know I'm not. Fucking ask Haley if I'm doing it perfectly. I'm not. But it's a transition, and Scorpio new moon is about transition, evolution, letting the dead die and resurrecting like a phoenix, right? Even this guy looks kind of like a phoenix with fiery wings or something. So he realized that in order to succeed, he had to take command of himself and his life. He had to take responsibility for every choice made, for every action, and for every emotion. From that moment on, he could shape his life. He would shape who he was. He was no longer be a slave to outside forces. He would become the master. Right? The master of our ignorance is the devil, and we blame other people, we blame other things. We say, I'm unable, I succumb to my lower nature, and at some point we have to say, you know what? It's a choice. Do I rise to the occasion or not? If the 10 of fire appears in your reading, it indicates a time to step up and take charge of your life. It is time to dedicate yourself to the path of the master, not so you can have control over others, but so you can shape your life with skill and confidence. How does one become a master? It requires pushing one's mind and body to continue despite all impediments and perceived restrictions. It requires dedication and discipline and a willingness to set personal challenges and goals and stick to them. I try to do a daily card jam every day, whether I feel like it or not, right? It's setting goals and sticking to them. It also requires knowing when to stop and allow yourself time to absorb and recharge. The master recognizes that there is a time for growth and a time to be dormant and rest. Above all, to become a master, you must be willing to learn, right? You have to be the student of life. You can't just say, I know it all. The true master knows they know nothing. And then they play with it with acceptance, fully taking responsibility, right? So being willing to learn. On a metaphysical level, see a lesson in all experiences. If you make mistakes, there's silver lining, there's a lesson there. If you make successes, how could you have improved? It's not all perfect, right? Looking at it that way. On a practical level, learn something that requires daily practice. I'm learning Japanese. You can learn musical instruments. You can learn tarot. You can learn anything, right? Do something that takes daily practice, and do not allow your first inevitable failures and mistakes to inspire you to give up. You're going to stumble, right? You're going to fall from grace. We're always held by through and for love, I think, but we do fuck up. Devil card. We make mistakes. We get tempted into ignorance, into brokenness, into separation, into failure, right? But those failures have lessons too. And it's about going from pure oneness into duality, light and dark, back into integration, light and dark in the one. Being a master is not about being the best, or being number one in Japanese, Ichi-san, number one. Japanese culture is obsessed with what's number one? It's kind of weird. The 10 of fire symbolizes giving your best and continuing to improve and grow, because by giving your best each and every time, you challenge and push yourself just that little bit further until you do become until what you do becomes second nature to you. I could play the guitar and not even think about it because I've put effort into it, whether it was popular, whether I was doing well, whether it felt good, whatever, right? In general, when the 10 of fire is drawn, consider it as a message to act and not to make excuses, right? This is the greatest excuse. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled is to convince the world it didn't exist. It's like, oh no, we have shadow. Oh no, we have brokenness. Oh no, we have polarity, right? We can make mistakes, and ultimately, we can't make excuses for that. We have to own it and say, I accept the lessons inherent in duality. To everything, there's a season. Sometimes there's winter, sometimes it's summer. Sometimes I'm authentic and responsible, and sometimes I'm irresponsible, but even owning that is responsible, right? To be a master, you have to be willing to work with your mind and hands with an almost religious observance. Like hyper-religiousness can be very Scorpio. Moon, Sun, and Scorpio. Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio right now. There is no other way. Finally, the Ten of Fire also symbolizes reaching the point where dedication and hard work have created ease and surety. That moment when you can look at the task before you and say with confidence that you understand what you have to do and you're capable of doing it well. It's a powerful moment. Take the time to acknowledge and enjoy it. Celebrate your achievements and accomplishments, no matter how big or small they are. Shine. Rejoice. You've earned this moment in the spotlight. Delight in it and allow it to inspire further fearless exploration, growth, and evolution. In a positively polarized sense, in a Promethean sense, the devil showed people an option. It was like, yeah, it's almost Promethean, right? Where it's like, yo, you have a spark within you that's different, and tempted Prometheus to check out the flame. And there's Prometheus, fully aware of his inner fire. That was the case anyway, but now he's aware of it. And he's responsible for it, right? Because we are these divine sparks, these emanations of pure consciousness embodied. It's a beautiful trip, y'all. And this is going to be a powerful new moon. You get to set your intentions. It's about battling your demon and winning. And the demon is you, so you want to do it with gratitude, right? It reminds me a little of a Never-Ending Story, the nothing, right? The devil is like this antithetical thing. You confront the nothing in you, and when you do, you have mastery, because you are both everything and nothing simultaneously, yin and yang. It's paradoxical. I know it's hard for a lot of monkeys to grok. We'll all get there one day, and I know it's something you and I are both remembering, right? But we're all where we need to be, and we're all going through the schools. Don't think that school's ever out of session. It's always in session. Birth and expansion. 13, Lyra. Very appropriate for a Scorpio new moon. With the Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio, it is going into birth through death, rebirth, expansion, right? The baby's in the fetus. The baby's in the womb, rather, and then it has to, through a very bloody, painful process, be birthed and expanded into a new place, right? And it's a privilege. We have to, maybe we start going, and screaming as our butts get slapped by the doctor, but birthing and expanding is exactly what we need, exactly what we have to go through. That's the true path of mastery as a spirit in the material world, as Sting would say, right? But that means confronting the devil within and without, making peace with the devil. But that means you have to understand what it is at first, not to deny it exists at all, right? So, denial, right? The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world it didn't exist. If you say, oh, this is weird, because it's like evil exists, but it's balancing, I guess you could say, with everything. So it exists in a way. Anyway, I'm rambling. I don't want to project too much on y'all. Lyra, 13, birth and expansion past timeline. As the Lyran civilization grew, it unleashed a tremendous amount of creative energy. There was so much excitement to build this new civilization and expand into the galaxy. It was a time of optimism, enthusiasm, and creative experimentation. This card reminds you of that ancient time that you were part of, and it encourages you to once again find that creative spark within you. Find that creative spark within you, that divine spark, 10 of fire. Look at this. It's like a holy light show. You are light incarnate. If you want to look at it that way, find that spark within you and fly to the highest levels. Know that the spark casts shadows. The shadow is the devil card, right? You have darkness within you. Don't succumb to it. Master it. Accept it. Know how to feed both the white and black dog. Don't say there is no black dog and just have this growling from the basement, the subconscious. With Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Mercury, we're bringing up everything that's been hidden in ourselves and in each other. And with Mars now direct, we're acting on it. We're transmuting it through action. The time to hide is no longer happening, right? So, there were times when you were, so it says, don't be afraid of your creativity. There were times when you were punished for it, but that reality has passed. It's time to release the karmic patterns of fearing your creativity and trust the universe to support it. Because this refers to the time period of Lyra's past pioneering spirit and their commitment and enthusiasm to build a physical reality that they desired, you might think that this card is representing a focus on masculine energy. That isn't necessarily true. Haley, this reminds me a little of the Gene Key we read today, 37, I think, about masculinity and femininity and balancing and stuff. So this isn't necessarily true. It refers more deeply to the creative process of the Lyrans, which, when used in a healthy way, was a very balanced expression. Creativity can be used for service or for selfishness. The devil is very creative, But we can use that same creativity to be masters of the fucking universe and ourselves. Same element, creativity, if you want to say, and it has shadow and light. Right? Are you blaming others and just kind of, saying, oh my, are you blaming yourself? I mean, at some point we're human, so we have to accept certain limitations, you could say, but then we're limitless ultimately anyway. It's a paradox, I know. No one likes this stuff, but here we are in the land of paradox. Here we be, birthing and expanding in the land of paradox. Creativity can be used for service or selfishness. In their journey to mature as a species, the lions used creativity in both ways, as do all of us, and they learned the lessons of selfishness when they made unconscious, self-serving choices. Just like children or teenagers learn about the results of their choices, Adam and Eve in that story, learned from the consequences of eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They were already holy and perfectly in alignment, and then they fell out of alignment, fell into consciousness in a new way because they became aware of polarity. So they're like, it was all good, and now I see the dynamics of it being all good, and I have the power to make choices, but we also have the power to give away our power. We have the power to succumb and fear. I'm guilty of it often. If you have this card in your reading, look at the surrounding cards. If there is a theme of several cards that warn of ego traps, the devil being the ultimate level of ego in a sense, pay attention to your hidden desires. Hidden desires. Can you say anything deeper about Scorpio? Hidden desire. Sun, Moon, and Mercury right there now. What are your hidden desires and for your creative process? How are you becoming? If the cards have a theme of nurturing your creative process or spiritual development, then you are encouraged to trust your creative process and take risks with it, even if you don't know where it will lead. All right? So know that you're fully supported. 10 of fire. It's like you are on fire. You are a miraculous being of light. But don't delude yourself into making mistakes. That will happen. See the paradox here? It's like mistakes happen. Don't beat yourself up, but try to make less mistakes than more. The devil will tempt you into things that you didn't have to do anyway. This guy doesn't need to take shots at tequila. Look at him. He's on he's in fucking DMT mode. Right? We're birthing and expanding right now into new places individually. For sure, I'm feeling that. Even having my fiance in my life for the past, 8 months or something like that, 9 months, she's rewired my whole being, and I'm very grateful for her. Love you, Haley. Birthing and expanding. We're all doing this collectively. Political systems are shifting. Monetary systems are shifting. Value systems are shifting. Right? We're getting the fractals growing. Right? It never stops growing. So don't be afraid. We are birthing and expanding an ever-present newness. And the more we kind of enjoy that ride, the more fun we'll have, I guess. Well, when I say enjoy the ride, it's like a good story. If there's no, I'm reading Harry Potter right now with my fiance, and it's like, if there was no Snape, if there was no Voldemort, it wouldn't be much of a story. We need these kind of devils. We need these tension players. You can thank them in a sense and say, thank you for allowing me to rise to my highest, because it's more entertaining that way. It's birthing and expanding more. The light can be more light, if you want to put it that way. The light is known from the darkness. Ignorance shows awareness. So we're birthing and expanding into new. And of course, we got the soul, the butterfly. Can you make this shit up? Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio. And with Venus and Libra, this is about a beautiful transformation, right? This is the soul, the journey of the soul. This looks like the soul writ in flesh. We are beings of light, right? So, 28. The butterfly. The soul. To experience our full selves, we go through a difficult period of transformation and growth. Guys, to know heaven, you have to know hell. To know illumination, you have to know ignorance, right? To be full, you have to have something to contrast it with. That's the whole point of unity into diversity. It's a birth and expansion through fracturing that makes the fractal so beautiful. It's great. Love this shit. To experience our full selves, we often go through a difficult period of transformation and growth. Trust what you feel. And I'm learning that the hard way. It's like, trust my intuition. Don't just go with your head. We all have stages to pass through in life. Not all are easy, right? Look ahead to where you wish to be, not where you have been. You cannot beat yourself up continuously. Once you've forgiven the past, once you've made peace with the devil, right? Shine on. Move forward. Right? Don't just keep on going back. Birth and expand. The baby doesn't crawl back up into the mother's hoo-ha and say, I went back in the womb. It says, thank you, I'm a new level stage of being, and here we go. Whether it's easy or hard. Like the caterpillar, the butterfly cannot turn back into a caterpillar. We are going through that process right now. Look ahead to where you wish to be, not to where you have been. Self-trust and trust of your partner, Haley, I love you, are necessary for a positive relationship. Without trust, it's very difficult. Mythos. Butterflies feature in many cultures as part of their mythos and usually reflect the idea of change and transformation of the deepest part of us. The deepest part of us is the devil card, the shadow. I mean, the full picture, the part we deny even exists. And with all this new moon in Scorpio, sun, moon, and Mercury in Scorpio, we're transforming for what? Venus, beauty and balance, harmony. It's always in harmony, and the caterpillar is beautiful and healthy and good. The emulsification process is good and healthy and necessary, and then the butterfly is something totally different. The butterfly will not happen without a caterpillar. So Celtic, Native American, and Mayan cultures all have stories of the divine butterfly, and the divine and butterflies. Probably the most well-known mythos is the Greek story of the archetypal lovers of Psyche and Eros, and the word Psyche meaning both soul and butterfly in ancient Greek. C.S. Lewis has an amazing book called, I think it's called Until We Have Faces or something like that. It's about Psyche and Eros. He does a really good job. If you like Narnia and that kind of stuff, like he takes a Greek myth and makes it a full novel. Check it out. It's beautiful. Psyche, and this is the story that he kind of elucidates and deepens further. Psyche, and this is not surprising. Psyche, we're talking about psychology, right? This is psychedelic, drug psychedelics. That's the soul. It's a soul engendering experience. That's where the psychedelic term comes from. Psychedelic, psyche, deep psychology, Scorpio. Deep psychological transformation of what? The soul. Scorpio, sun, moon, and Mercury. New moon in Scorpio. Psyche was a mortal girl who was so beautiful, Venus in Libra, right? So beautiful that people came from all around to gaze and bask in her beauty. Very Venus in Libra. It's like, you're so beautiful, let me be in relationship with you. She was so appealing that people no longer went to the shrines of the goddess Aphrodite. So she was like usurping a goddess of beauty. She was so hot, right? Instead, they forsook her and looked at Psyche, this human. Aphrodite was angry and decided to punish Psyche and sent her son Eros, who shot arrows into people to make them fall in love, to shoot an arrow into Psyche and make her fall in love with the most vile creature on earth. The most vile creature on earth, the devil. The worst thing possible, right? However, when Eros saw Psyche, he was shocked by her beauty and accidentally pierced himself with his own magical arrow, thus falling in love with the mortal girl. He could not tell his mother because she hated Psyche so much, and he cast magic, sun, moon, and Mercury and Scorpio, magic. He cast deceptive magic, I guess you could say, upon Psyche so that no mortal it's a boundary. He cast magic to create a boundary, very scorpionic, so that no mortal could marry her. Psyche's father was amazed that he had no offers for her hand, even though she was the most admired girl in the kingdom. He's like, this girl's a 12, and no one's even asking to date. What's going on? Venus and Libra. He went to the oracle at Delphi. Oracles, magical, kind of psychic, some scorpionic energy there. Moon in Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio. He went to the oracle at Delphi and asked Apollo what to do. The oracle said that Psyche must marry the man she would meet on top of the nearby dark mountain. Psyche's father took her to the top of the crag and left her there, telling her that a husband would come for her. Psyche was terrified. Very Scorpio new moon. What scares us? What's our deepest, darkest shadow fears, right? The devils. Like, she's like, oh my God, I'm going to get eaten by fucking something crazy. Psyche was terrified. She thought she had been left to die there alone and unwanted. Then a wind stirred her hair and a melodious voice said to her, come with me, my love, and I will take you to our home. You will be happy always, but you may not see me. Hidden things. Scorpio new moon. Hidden things. Secrets. Not fully revealing. Scorpio energy. Psyche was swept away and soon found... This is on page 111. Psyche was soon swept away and soon found herself in a huge royal palace with beautiful food and her husband, whom she could not see but felt as pure love, and all this was hers. She made love, sex, wonk wonka, or bountiful wow wow, whatever I'm trying to say, very scorpionic. She made love to her husband. She had never experienced such joyous ecstasy. She was happy, and she sent word to her father and sisters that she married a fine man. Her sisters soon came to visit, full of curiosity, kind of mysteries, like, what's going on? Mercury and Scorpio. When they saw the huge home and all the servants, they were jealous, and that could be a problem of Scorpio, of their sister. They asked about the new husband and what he looked like, and Psyche innocently admitted she could not tell them. The sisters savagely told Psyche she must be married to an ugly monster and not to a man. You must be married to the devil. They played upon her fears, right? And they laughed at her. Psyche defended her husband, but the idea of the monster was now planted in her mind. So once an idea is like a virus, according to Inception, right? Once you plant a seed, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, it grows. So we've got to be careful discerning with our minds. That's why, listening to our shadow selves, our devils, isn't always good. It's like, it might not be true. We might be deluding ourselves, or worse, believing lies. The devil is the father of lies. That's that kind of energy. So Psyche was devastated and could only turn to the goddess of love herself, irony alert, Aphrodite, for help, not knowing that the goddess was so against her. This goddess was pissed because Psyche's the hot chick of the day, and Aphrodite's getting denied her worship, and now she's like, oh my gosh, help me. She prayed to Aphrodite, and the goddess told her that only if she successfully completed 3 tasks to prove her love for her son would she convince him to take her back. The tasks were seemingly impossible, even confronting Death, Scorpio, New Moon, confronting Death himself. But Psyche prevailed in all of them. This angered Aphrodite even more, and she became set on making Psyche her slave. Other gods saw this wrongdoing and intervened. Venus and Libra, justice does happen. Love brings justice. Heart chakra day. Alerting Eros to everything that this wife was enduring to win back his love. Eros flew back to Psyche. They were reunited, and they forgave each other. Forgiveness is the key to everything. And they were happy in their realm together. The animal. Butterflies are an ancient species of insect with fossil records dating back in excess of 56 million fucking years. Y'all, that's a long time. They are found everywhere but Antarctica and come in a huge variety of sizes, colors, and shapes. Although the 4 wings are typical, many butterflies are migratory, and it is now understood that they use a navigatory system based on polarized light from the sun. This new moon is an eclipse. Polarized light. That's even that kind of energy. This is polarized light. This is darkness. Right? This means that even in cloudy conditions, they can know where they are. Even if they're confused and they're in the darkness, they can't blame anybody because they have the ability to be masters with their senses and see actually what's going on. Beautiful. They are extremely important as pollinators and are also known for their beauty. Of particular note are the butterflies with iridescent wings for camouflage and almost neon-like colors, which are known the world over. These include the stunning blue giant, blue morpho, and the pearl morpho, which shimmer in rainbow colors. Shimmering in rainbow colors. He even looks like a fire butterfly, y'all. It's like, I am your highest butterfly self. Get out of your cocoon, you sluggy little thing. You caterpillar of ignorance, you devil. Birth and expand into your higher form that was always there if you chose to accept it, kind of thing. So butterflies have a very varied stage of transformation into their adult age, which is why they are so symbolic of transformation. Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio. New Moon in Scorpio. Transformation. Larvae grow from eggs and are often referred to as caterpillar. This larval stage can be very short or lengthy depending on the species. The larva cocoon inside a chrysalis to undergo a huge metamorphosis in form that involves physical structures being built and broken down. Guys, this is the astrology that we're going through. Physical structures that we've built over a long period of time are now being judged. Saturn transformed Pluto in a big way. Jupiter in Capricorn, right? And with the Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Scorpio with a new moon, it's about new beginnings. Where do we actually want to turn ourselves? We can't keep blaming others. We can't keep saying the politicians are the wrong ones. We have to be the change we want to see. We can't keep saying, kill them all, let God sort it out. We can't be, it's all that stuff. We have to step into our power. And that's a lot of responsibility, but it's part of birthing and expanding, right? And Lyra is like honor, heart, Lyrans. It's a heart chakra day. We're going to be lion-hearted and birth and expand into our glory when we decide to stop playing victims and deceiving ourselves, right? It's the soul's journey. So don't even freak out that you're here. It's like, you chose this. We put a quarter into the game called Transformation Through Duality in physical form and time space. And that's where we're at. It's beautiful, really, ultimately. Pat yourself on the back. You chose a very hard game on a hard setting. So butterfly magic. Here's where we go, right? Butterfly magic. I skipped a line. When the new butterfly is ready, it breaks free of the cocoon, dries its wings, and flies away. A small, profound miracle that we can all witness. Magic in the real world. Magic. Butterfly magic is key to growth and transformation of the what? Soul. Going through trauma or difficulty, going through dark times, going through the devil maybe even, right? Does what? Reveals our true self and to grow into the magnificence of the soul itself. Guys, that's the full the birth and expansion. It's always there, but we have to reveal it to ourselves. We have to remember. That's the trip we're on. Ease doesn't always mean growth. Hitting the easy button is the lazy, devilish move. It's the ego. Sometimes, Maybe it's not easy to like fast for 40 days, but man, there's going to be growth. I've never done this, so don't just take that as a prescription. You know, sometimes trying to come to reconciliation in an argument is the right thing to do, even though it's easy to run off to your corner and lick your wounds and say, I'm right, they're wrong, right? We have to transform through the soul. When you need help moving from one life stage to another, all of us are there right now individually, all of us there collectively right now. It's a new moon in new beginnings, right? New birth through transformation. When you need help moving from one life stage, caterpillar, into another, then butterfly magic can be useful, although patience is often needed to embody change fully. When you require a dose of beauty, hope, and lightness of spirit, and a reminder to live your life to the full, then butterfly energy can be just the thing. Symbology is a woman with butterfly wings, caterpillar to butterfly, that transformational process, butterfly wings. The status ranges from least concern to endangered. There's a whole lot of types. But guys, look. I mean, look, he's even got like devil's butterfly wings. He's even going through transformation. Our understanding of our shadow and our relationship to it changes. It's always holy, perfect, and divine. Everything's in order. Everything is awesome. We're birthing and expanding through ignorance to awareness, from unity into a polarized fracturing, and back into unification in diversity. Birth and expansion through the heart chakra day. It's the soul's journey. What a trip. What a beautiful privilege. Let's get some more cards. I'm kind of rambling. I know I get excited and get on tangents here. My bad. I don't think you guys mind, or else you wouldn't be watching, but it's helping me. Because I've made some choices lately, which I won't go into, that were betrayal of my soul and my heart. I didn't go for my heart, I went for my head. And I was tempted by fear to do stupid shit. And I will always regret what I've done. I'm not really going to get into it. But I have to learn from that and be like, Jim, you can't outsource your peace and your, your lessons. There's a lesson here where it's like, don't give in to fear. Fear is an illusion. Artemisia gentileschi. This is some serious, there's even blood. This gets into rape, and feminism, like the transformation of society. Let's get into it. This is very appropriate for the new moon in Scorpio. So, Artemisia gentileschi put a crack in the Baroque ceiling by painting one in collaboration with her artist father, very Venus and Libra. It's like, let's make beautiful things together, Dad. Though denied important artistic education and experience on account of being female, she still pursued figure painting inspired by works of family friend Caravaggio. Her dramatic, sometimes violent works saw immediate recognition, but were neglected until the 1970s feminists stepped in. As a teenager, Gentileschi took her art instructor to trial in a high-profile rape case. She had to confront her demon, right, in public for her soul's growth. If she hadn't done that, she wouldn't have stepped into her full power. Her journey included, and this is why we can't avoid it, our birth and expansion include pain. It's not all easy. She had to confront a rapist in public at a time when women's voices were not heard. As a teenager, nonetheless, she wasn't even a woman. It wasn't like she was like a 40-year-old. She was like a 13-year-old probably, or whatever. She won the rape case, but not without going through hell, right? You will transform. The soul, you will transform. You will come into the higher power. You will birth and expand, but not without going through hell, the devil card. Don't think you can escape polarity. Forever up, there's an equal opposite down. Some read her biography into her subsequent paintings, which often depict biblical heroines kicking ass and taking heads. Like she's got, she would have somebody's head in their picture, and it's like, I've decapitated you. It says, use your talent like a weapon. That's the advice we're getting from her. Guys, we cannot play victims anymore, right? We can't. We have to attack the darkness inside. My phone is saying crazy shit. We have to attack the darkness inside by using our intelligence. Use your heart to get over your mind, essentially. You have to use, it says, use your talent like a weapon. Look how talented we are. 10 of fire. We are fully equipped to be able to kick ass and win. But we've asked to be part of a reality where losing is an option, where deceit and failure are options, right? This is the journey of the soul. We're birthing and expanding through polarity. It's a privilege. We asked to sign up for this. Don't pretend like you're just like along for the ride saying, why did I do this? It's like, hit me up for an astrology reading or a tarot reading. I can kind of look into your blueprint and explain what your superpower gifts are, right? Your talents and how to use them like a weapon. But your soul has chosen to be here, and just like the caterpillar chooses to be a butterfly, even though while it's melting and saying, "Oh my God, I'm melting, and transforming, the butterfly is the goal. Our goal is illumined awareness of polarity, the ins and outs, and we can only do that through birth and expansion. We had to start with ignorance to become holy, you could say. At least in this game, the way we're playing it. Use your talent like a weapon, though. Everybody has skills. Everybody has talents. Everybody has an Achilles heel. So don't think you only have skills and you don't have any blind spots. We do have blind spots. One of my favorite blind spots for myself, for example, is I'm a Sun and Moon, 11th house, Gemini. My Chiron is in Gemini. My wound, so I could talk and think, but then my mind freaks me out sometimes. I think too much, or I say too much, or I ramble, right? Or I'm too friendly with everybody, and I'm not taking things seriously enough, right? It can be a problem. So we all have skills, like being playful in inner child mode. That's dope. But then, like, do you ever fucking like take things seriously? I'm learning, thankfully, through a partner, like my fiance Haley, to be my best self. She's calling me into my highest form. So if you guys have been watching me over the months or years, and you think there's some improvement happening, I've accepted the challenge, but the challenge has come through a very woke, dope individual calling my bullshit and telling me I could do better, right? Love Haley. She's the shit. Lapis Lazuli. This is actually a beautiful song by Beach House, Lapis Lazuli. I'll put it in the comments on Facebook. If you don't know about Beach House, get in on that shit. What it is, a deep blue, very Scorpion, deep water, a deep blue stone with deep history. See ancient Egypt, Tutankhamun's eyeshadow, the Old Testament, the high priest of Israel's vestment, and the Dutch Golden Age Vermeer's palette. Who needs it? Cat people, Leos, anyone, and we have a Lyran card, right? People coming from the heart. Anyone who uses the phrase, in a past life, I'm totally convinced I was, right? Because there are many lives and past lives in a single life and multidimensionally. What happens when the caterpillar is talking to his friends as a butterfly? He's like, "Yo, I remember being a caterpillar," and they're like, "We don't believe you," right? We don't believe you, you devil trickster, says the caterpillars who have yet to birth and expand into their butterfly form. But guess what? It's always within them. Ten of fire, right? It's like the butterfly was always in the genes for that thing. It was a talent. Use it like a weapon, right? The talent to fly is latent in the caterpillar. The caterpillar's just grubbing along, eating and crawling and all the, just being basic as fuck. But that's okay. It's necessary in the game that it has to play. And then it dies and transforms. And that's what we do. We're basic as fuck. And then we die. We have dark nights of the soul. We have mental breakdowns, spiritual breakdowns. And then we come out of that, hopefully, with love for ourselves and love for others. Heart chakra day. So this says, as a spiritual, where to put it, as a spiritual armor that lets the world know when I walk into a room, it's customary for y'all to bend the knee. When to use it when your thoughts are not your friends. Call on Lapis Lazuli to help you get out of whatever your mind has gotten you into. When our thoughts are not our friends, all right, that's the devil. When our thoughts are against us, when we're being divided, when we're a house divided as a nation, right? This is the thing that separates. And separation is good and necessary. Solway, separate, and coagula, come back together. Come together. We're all one. But we're going through a spiritual journey of differentiation. It's crazy. So Lapis Lazuli is saying, ascend to your rightful throne. Guys, he tried to ascend to his rightful throne improperly, and that's why the devil reigns in hell, not heaven, or whatever the story goes, right? He ascended improperly. He descended by trying to ascend prematurely. But that's his trip. That's his spiritual journey. We can't judge it too much, right? This looks like a very ascended individual, does it not? Chakras are lit, fucking seraphim wings, fully woke, fucking crazy holiness, whatever's going on. Like Hulk, green hands of fire, Iron Man hands or whatever, holding the swords of truth. This guy's guarding, this is almost like the angel at the garden that says you can't pass until you're woke, and this is the guy that made you not woke. But you asked to play this trip, so don't have a scapegoat called the devil. Birth and expansion are necessary and weird processes of soul development. We're in a soul school. We're spiritual beings in a material world learning lessons. And we've been given skill sets. Use those skill sets, those talents as weapons. If you have a good mind, use it. Don't let it consume you. If you have a big heart, use it. Don't get walked on. If you have if you're good with money and investments, use it. But don't be Scrooge McDuck about it, right? This is ascend to your rightful throne. And dare I say, we've played a game where we descended to the lowest possible levels to ascend. We fell from great heights to return to those great heights. So whatever the fall was, if there is a thing, right? Whatever the fall was from holiness and unity into division and duality and drama and all this shit, we're going to ascend equally. For as much as you fall, you get right back up. So let's play some music. I actually thought I was going to play my acoustic guitar, so I haven't set anything up. So give me 1 second while I grab some things. I just feel like playing electric guitar because I'm all jazzed up. Once I get jazzed up, it's more like rock and roll time and not so much like, minstrel time. I was going to play Eyes Without a Face by Billy Idol, but I'm not going to play that now because I'm going to jam. Eyes without a face. Na, 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 na. One more time, we'll play na, 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 na. I'm so bad at lyrics. Alright. I'm probably mooning you guys. Sorry about that. Let's jam. So we've got the Devil card with the 10 of fire, kind of symbolizing what we can possibly become. From apes to angels. There's a lot of potential being represented here, but we have to face our shadows. And nobody's shadow free. Anybody who says I don't have any shadow, they're tripping on the hardest shadow. Like I said, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince he didn't exist. The greatest trick the shadow will ever pull is to say you're 100% right always. You have no mistakes. Like that's ego tripping at the highest level. You have to understand though it's a paradox because we're perfectly imperfect, right? So it's okay. We ask to be broken, to be fixed in a different new way, kind of. All right. So Devil card. Trickstery sounding, hopefully. That's what I was going for, at least. Well, my phone died, so it's not on Facebook anymore. Oh well. That always happens. So with the devil card on a Scorpio new moon, Sun and Moon and Mercury and Scorpio, are we transforming? Are we rising out of the darkness into a higher dimensionality, into a higher light of spirit? It was always there, but we had to fall into darkness to know what light even was. Right? It's a birth and expansion process. It's all good. It's a journey of the soul, so don't even be mad about it. Don't trip. Right? Don't be a victim. Own it. Use your talents like a weapon. Own this process as a journey of the soul and ascend to your rightful throne with lapis lazuli. Hopefully that makes sense. No podcast today. Holler for readings if you want. Love giving them. People love getting them. And use this magic of this portal. It was very recently 11/11, right? It's a new moon in Scorpio. We have the possibility to break through and transform from caterpillar to butterfly. Hopefully that makes sense. Adios.